Dear viewers across the world, most welcome to my channel NAGA World Conflict Zone. Context: China will continue to push for two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. The Palestine-Israel conflict that broke out in mid-May and was described as the worst since 2014 caused heart-wrenching casualties and property loss. On May 20, the two sides reached a ceasefire agreement, a decision that China welcomed. 73 years ago, when the first Arab-Israeli war broke out, the Palestinian people started their arduous journey toward independence. However, their reasonable demand to establish an independent nation has yet to be fulfilled. As history repeats itself in a tragic way and the deep-seated Palestine-Israel conflict again raises alarm across the world, the international community is obliged to guard peace and stop the tragic cycle of violence in the Middle East. Currently, to de-escalate the tension, it is imperative to resolve the humanitarian crisis in the region, heal the wound, it is lift the blockade and siege of ravaged Gaza, and respect the historical status quo of the holy site in Jerusalem. The international community should send humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian people and support their rebuilding efforts. Resuming dialogue between Palestinians and the Israel is the first step toward achieving peace. The relevant parties of the international community should take an unbiased stance and facilitated dialogue between the two sides. The United Nations Security Council should play its role and take the responsibility to promote peace, talks and build trust between the two sides. China support the Middle East, Eastern nation and international and regional organizations, including the United Nations, the Organizations of Islamic Cooperation and the Arab League, in playing a more active role and forming a stronger synergy to diffuse tension. Beijing also firmly support the two-state solution to realize peace and tackle the crux of conflicts. Unfortunately, the Palestinian-Israel talks have deviated from the right track of the two-state solution in recent years, thus have failed to prevent bloodshed or stop the escalation of tensions. And ultimately, the Palestinian-Israel conflict can only be resolved in the long run on the basis of the two-state solution. China steadfastly support the two sides peacefully coexistence in light of the two-state solution. China has done a lot to de-escalate the conflict. On May 16, State Councilor and the Foreign Minister Wang Yi chaired the United Nations Security Council's open debate on the situation in the Middle East, including the Palestinian questions, and made remarks urging the Council to move forward with urgency. As a stance champion of peace, China will never cease engaging with the two sides and mediating through multilateral and bilateral channels. There is a worsening humanitarian disaster unfolding in the Gaza Strip, where people are in dire need of the international assistance. China will provide emergency humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians and will donate money and coronavirus disease vaccine to the United Nations Relief and Work Agency for Palestinians refugees in the Near East. It will continue to push the United Nations Security Councils to review the Palestinian questions and reforms reaffirm to two-state solutions, and will also extend an invitation to peacemakers from both Palestinians and Israel to hold talk in China. As a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, a loyal friend of the Middle East, and a reasonable major country, China has been working with the international community to promote peace, stability, and the prosperity in the region. No matter how the international and regional situation change, China will, as always, stand on the side of justice and will advocate the establishment of an independent state of the Palestinian that enjoy full sovereignty based on the 1967 border and with the East Jerusalem as its capital. The Palestinians' dream of living a peaceful and prosperous life in the region should be safeguarded. Zhai Zone is the special envoy of Chinese government on the Middle East issue credited.